Hello, and welcome to the second video in this YouTube series, Introduction to JavaScript. In this episode, I'm pretty much going to be showing you how to set up your environment to write JavaScript. Over here, I already have Visual Studio Code opened. Visual Studio Code is a text editor by Microsoft Studios. And for most of the tutorials in this video, I'll be using Visual Studio Code for that. Now, you would have to download Visual Studio Code on your own PC, and you can simply just visit their website here, code.visualstudio.com. I'll leave a link in the description or as a comment in this video. All right. So depending on the environments that you're on, be it Windows, Linux, or Mac, you could download Visual Studio Code on your system and get set up. In the previous video, I mentioned a couple of ways we could run JavaScript, and one of them is using the text editor. And because I'm going to be using Visual Studio Code for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm going to be running a couple of JavaScript commands or JavaScript files from the CLI. And for that instance, I already have Node.js installed. So if you don't have Node.js installed, then I would have to ask you to install Node.js. So yeah, installing both Visual Studio Code and Node.js. So Node.js is a JavaScript runtime that enables us to run JavaScript from the CLI, build web servers, and a couple of other stuff like that, other cool stuff, right? So you would have to download Node.js. I already have Node.js installed on my PC, but if you're just going to if you don't, you are going to have to just click the download button from here and download will pretty much start. If you're on a different environment as well, you could also install Node via package manager of just clicking the download here and choosing your operating system, right? Um, if you don't want to run JavaScript, via your text editor and you don't want to use the CLI to run JavaScript, there are other ways we could run JavaScript, and none of them is in the browser, for instance. And the good thing about this tutorial is most of the codes we are going to write are codes that you could pretty much execute in your browser, right? I'm going to show you an example. You pretty much click in inspect, you head to the console tab, and here you could write some JavaScript, right? An example would be let's a equal 10, for instance, and we do a console log to print the value of a, which prints out 10, right? So this is one of the different ways we could run JavaScript. The second option is to use a platform like or a playground like JS Video. So here we could also do the same thing and say let's a equal 10, and I'm going to try to clear the console. It's all modded up here, so I'm just going to click run. And sorry, I didn't print the whole console thing. I will do console.log a, and this would also print the value of a. So if I run this now, we get 10. So this is one of the different ways to run JavaScript. So depending on the setup you're most comfortable with, yeah, um, we can just get started. But for me, I'm going to be using Visual Studio Code and Node.js for most of the videos in this section. Node.js is pretty easy to install. Just clicking the install button and following the prompt, and then you're good to go. So in the next video, we are going to be talking about variables, and we'll be writing our very first JavaScript code.